Alright, so just a couple of quick announcements here. A reminder to join Discord. We have a cool community built up over there. About 400 members already, so get on over there, talk poker with us, play online poker with us. By the way, I am playing a lot more online poker these days. You should come play with me, and I'll probably stream about it soon? Soon? We don't know when soon is, but it sounds good, right? Oh, we'll do that soon. But really, it will be soon. So, other major announcements. Is it major? I don't know. It's definitely a long time coming, though. I've got to do a mic smash for this. We've got merch. You, for a limited time only, can buy yourself one of these shirts. That's a double lie. You can't buy this shirt. This is one of a kind. It will look similar to this, but it will not be this. Also, probably not actually limited time. But you should get over to teespring.com/uproar I'll put the URL here and in the description and in a comment so that you guys all can get yourself some Uproar merch. If that doesn't get you into an Uproar by itself, I've also got a Matt Vaughan poker t-shirt over there if you want to check that out. Go ahead and do it. Helps the channel out, helps me out, helps me keep making content like this. And yeah, why is my microphone just like so? It's just really out there today. It thinks it's the star of the show. Moving on here, just gonna really not have a whole lot else to say. I know a lot of people were pissed off that I had like an 8-minute intro in the last vlog. That's because I had a lot to say, and I was traveling, so fun travel montages. But also, this is just a continuation of that video. Without further ado, let's just get into the video.
I think I know what Matt Vaughan has in the pocket. I think I figured it out. He's got the most sour possible warhead, that candy that's really sour. It's called Warheads.
Okay.
And he's afraid to eat it because it's really sour. And he's been carrying it around for years. And he's just waiting for the right moment to build up the confidence to eat the warhead.
Is today the day?
I guess we'll find out.
It might be the day.
It might be the day.
That'd be exciting.
And we're back. We saw Matt Vaughan be a little active in the first segment of this episode. We didn't really see him play much in the first episode of this session.
No, he was in his quiet place, his safe place.
He was just like, "Come on, Matt, you can fucking do it. You can eat the warhead, man. You can do it."
Today is finally when I will become
the Matt Vaughan that I could always be. Yeah. Dan's smiling a little bit right now because he's thinking about Mr. Potato.
Mr. Potato?
Mr. Potato Head. That's what I meant to say.
Why is he thinking about that?
I don't know. He just often thinks about Mr. Potato Head and smiles.
Why does that bring him joy?
Does Mr. Potato Head not bring you joy?
No, not at all.
Does he bring you fear?
Not fear, just disgust and avarice.
So
This is a potato who his entire function is to disguise himself, to trick people. Now I have eyes. Now I have different ears. Who am I today?
how has this not come up before? You being so passionate about anti-Mr. Potato Head.
Of course, I don't even understand what we're talking about right now. Like, does not everyone feel this way? Is Mr. Potato Head a big? No one like gets Mr. Potato Head anymore because everyone understands that that's not okay.
Hey, anyway, DM5 has a 3 now, and he's betting, and it's probably just going to end the hand.
Well, Matt Vaughan could decide to call on this board against this opponent.
This hand, I'm in the hijack and opened it up to 40. Nothing much to say here. This is pretty standard open when suited. Offsuit, I'd be folding it. We get to a flop with not a whole lot going on it. It is reasonably connected, so I could kind of go either way here. C-betting. This time I decided to check it back. I probably would today opt to C-bet this combination just because I have no clubs, I have no hearts, so I don't have a lot of value in, trying to basically get to showdown. I think the hearts and clubs combos are much better for that, or even just ace-x with a heart in it. So I would normally just c-bet here, and as we can see, we probably would have gotten the fold. But as played, I think that we need to peel at least one street on the turn bet. He bets a pretty reasonable size here, and ace high is going to be good fairly often. But this is one of the reasons why checking back instead of just c-betting the flop is a little bit awkward from time to time.
You check back the flop, right?
I imagine you've begun an organization that
So he
looks
is
like
gonna
Matt's
call,
going
yeah.
to call. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. Not crazy.
Yeah. All right. It'll be interesting river if
Especially-
DM5 feels like he has to bluff.
Oh, clubs come, so that's probably going to slow down everybody.
Yeah.
If both flush draws missed, could have been interesting. Anyone, any root vegetable that can't just show its face for what it is really doesn't deserve anyone's time.
Are
let
you
alone my
including
time.
radishes? Just to be clear.
Is radish a root vegetable?
Yeah.
Then yes. I said any root vegetable. I didn't
just
say
feels
most.
like you shouldn't say that about radishes.
Okay.
Based on what they've gone through.
Okay. That's a historical argument that I think at this point is defunct. I understand there was a point.
We can't learn anything from history.
Hey, it's a gutter for BMW Blake, everybody.
And it's top pair for Matt Vaughan.
Top and bottom for Matt
top
Vaughan.
and bottom,
Way better. Probably not enough for anyone to be able to continue, but sometimes Blake surprises us. It's an $80 bet, and Blake cannot call. Wait, fast enough.
Seems like it was fast enough.
He thought about it for a quarter of a second, got it in super fast. There are 3 outs to the nuts. That ain't one of them. Matt Vaughan's got to feel very good about his hand right now.
Yeah, it's very unlikely that he's behind.
I mean, what are you losing? A slow played pocket 5s? There's one combo.
Yep. Somehow pocket 3s doesn't seem likely.
This is interesting. Blake is like really engaged in a discussion, not paying attention to Matt Vaughan at all, as Matt is like thinking about it. And Blake just in the middle of the discussion very smoothly.
Why aren't you dead?
This is probably the first real
Sometimes when people are in a discussion like that, they actually have a very strong hand and they're trying to look like they're not paying attention, but not happening here.
No, but like this was like.
Matt had a strong enough hand in situationally that I guess he's sort of hoping for that.
Yeah.
Almost like maybe Blake has ace-3 and is like trying to make it look like he doesn't care.
Come on, dude. Like
things often go well for the Rooster in this game, I will say.
Don't question the rooster!
Damn it.
Matt was so happy.
Spiked before he got across
Well
the
suited
goal.
one gapper.
Was it 35?
Yeah.
Not getting this through.
Nope. Expect Matt Vaughan has almost all of his
Queen 5 of diamonds.
decisions here are calls.
Yeah.
I don't have
A
70.
few 3
There you
bets.
go. Fair fight.
I hope Dan wins this one.
And that almost seems like it's gonna hit Matt Vaughan, but it doesn't.
The flop's all over the place, but it's not all over these guys.
Easy bet for the Rooster.
Matt could call because he does have the nut no pair here. He could call for the straight value of his hand and for the gut shot.
The hope is that if he hits, the few times that he hits, he makes enough money on this kind of a board. Turns out he just takes the lead.
That's kind of a monster card for
Yeah.
the Rooster, though.
It is. It's a huge spot. Matt, I think, in a really clear check call spot.
This next hand, Joseph opens it up in the cutoff with 10-8 suited, and I decide to just defend in the big blind rather than 3-bet. Could definitely go both ways here, but I feel like I've sort of been kind of picking on Joseph a little bit over the past few sessions, so we're just gonna leave this one alone. I decided to peel with a gutter, and it's definitely not a super fun spot to be in. We don't really have a whole lot going on other than king high, but king high could be good. The gutter's obviously good. A pair is sometimes good, and we actually turn a card that is, on paper pretty good for us. We turn second pair. As you can see, the Rooster here improves to a flush draw and a gutter, so pretty much a money card for him. And we can see that he's going to actually continue betting for a size that is going to make it very awkward for us.
Double gutter.
Rooster
and
has to bet.
The flush draw.
Has to bet here for the Rooster.
150.
Bet 150.
Yep.
He's going full pot. I like that decision.
Yep. It would make sense if he had a hand like ace queen or ace jack just to charge all the draws. It's
or
a very wet
3-3
board.
or jack jack or queen queen or ace ace.
Even ace king he might bet like this.
He might. And
Matt might find a fold now.
This is a tough spot for Matt. I think it's probably better to fold overall.
Yep. You're often going to be up against a big barrel on the river, whether he has it or not. And if you don't think you're going to be able to call, yep, it's not unreasonable just to let it go right now.
You're just hoping he has a combo draw or is getting out of line, basically.
And you think to yourself, why is he betting so much if he's getting out of line? Does he really need to?
And you block a lot of combo draws with the king of clubs.
Yeah. I like how both guys played that.
Yep.
I definitely felt like we were going to still be good here sometimes. I thought that against this size, we would run into some of these types of hands. Some, Queen X of spades type hands, 10-9 of spades type hands. But at the same time, he has a lot of value hands that are really strong here that we're drawing close to dead against. And when he pots the turn, it definitely doesn't feel like we're just going to get a free river too often. And when that's the case, I think it's a pretty good time to just make a little bit of a tight fold out of the big blind, fold this improved second pair. kind of weird to call flop with nothing, improved turn to fold, but when the sizings go this way, I don't think it's all that crazy.
It's nice.
It's
Satisfying hand.
It's weird for Matt to hit one of his best cards and then check fold after calling on the flop, but that's
the
poker,
beauty
man.
and the art of no limit hold'em, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, Blake. It's a respect.
It's like a whispering desert wind. He's not wearing the jacket anymore, but how upset would you be if you found out that what Matt Vaughan had in his jacket pocket was a picture of Mr. Potato Head?
Oh,
bet
like
you won. I'll bet you won.
what if it was like a selfie with him and Mr. Potato Head?
Oh, man.
The thing is, if that Potato Head dude is like wearing one of his disguises, I wouldn't even know it. Matt could be like, "This is me and my girlfriend." I'd be like, "Oh, she's pretty." You know, like I just wouldn't know because oh, I love her little hat. That's
Because
so
you're
fashionable.
easily deceived.
And of course, I know fashion, as we've already established. So
You're-
I would really be like,
You're the fashion expert of
I love her
Portland.
glasses, her hat. She's really got a whole look.
The potatoiness. I love that.
The uniformity of her skin tone. Such bright eyes. A drink, combo meal at some
Maybe a
places. Matt
salad.
Vaughan not playing the 9-7 suited. He's tightened up.
We've got the sing and the dance routine.
You know, he gets that haircut and he changes his entire play style.
Bring the cameras over here.
Usually his hair is like Batiste's.
And those of you who don't know Batiste is, it's long and flowy,
Yep.
like a shampoo commercial kind of.
Yeah.
hair. Joseph a chance to bluff. The Rooster a chance to bluff sometimes.
It's
Once
hard
he
to think of.
raises.
It's hard to think of bluffs that he has.
I don't really like leading the river. I feel like we're mostly folding out worse hands and getting action from better hands.
I just think you have a much better chance to get called by top pair that way than 3-betting the turn.
Yes.
DM5 already has this locked up. I guess there's no deuces left. They were folded.
That's how it goes.
Oh no, it's because there's a 3 on the board. Now I see.
Oh, it could come running deuces for quads.
Well, I guess it couldn't because we got the check mark. So at least one deuce was folded. I didn't even notice that it was a full house. Just like, oh, trip aces. And look at this. He's getting called. What a deal. Feels good to get called in this spot.
Well, it's a kind of polarizing board. It's understandable why Matt might call once and see what DM5 does on the turn. The problem is DM5 is the kind of guy who will keep firing a lot. Maybe not in this board as much, but a lot. I don't know how Matt can just keep on keeping on here.
Makes sense to give up.
Yeah.
It's a bad turn card for you.
DM5 shows the flopped boat.
This next hand, we play another pot against DM5. He opens it up, and I defend with the deuces out of the big blind. Flop comes ace, ace-3, which, as we can see, is very favorable for DM5. But we are not going to be able to check fold just yet. He should be c-betting virtually his whole range here, and most likely is. So when we have a pair, even though it kind of sucks to be in the spot, we can't really call down multiple streets, definitely have a clear-cut call. The turn ends up coming the 9 of hearts, and at this point, he has basically every ace in his range. This is an interesting thing about really wide players pre-flop is that they actually have a lot more of the offsuit ace-x, as we can see he does. So he has full combinations of possibly every trip aces, every boat, which is not a fun spot to be in for us. We don't beat a whole lot of the double barrels, although certainly he has some bluffs here. It's not like he doesn't have any, but it's going to be, again, one of those situations similar to the last hand, actually, where it's going to be so hard to navigate all the way to showdown that it makes sense to fold right now.
Pretty sure I also folded ace-3. I'm not positive.
Why do we call it a boat? Like, I understand Full House is the original name. And it turned into a boat. Is because of like houseboats? Like why is it a full boat in a boat sometimes?
Maybe it's from when people were playing on the river, like the Mississippi River
First time, I think, in
casinos.
Oh, maybe actually because the actual river though, like the fifth card comes, the fifth community card comes, and that's the river. So you're like, oh, I have a full house, but I'm on the river, so it's like I have a.
Yeah.
That can't be it though, right? That's way too much.
It might be because people were just literally playing on boats. And they were thinking about boats. You know?
Maybe.
People still play on boats. They're just kind of like buildings that are boats for legal reasons.
Easy open here for Mr. Vaughan. Even if he spells his name bizarrely.
Which is his fault.
I mean, he could change it, right? There's
Definitely worth the time and money.
mechanisms in place. Blake flops best, though.
In this next hand, I open up the ace-9 offsuit from the button, and BMW Blake is the only caller. So we go heads up to a flop. And even though I do flop a backdoor flush draw, ace high, I think that this board is so favorable to the preflop caller that we want to take this ace high and just kind of try to navigate it to showdown, maybe make a pair, something like that. See if we do hit a heart on the turn before trying to put some bets in. I would do this with a lot of my really strong hands, such as aces, kings, and queens at some frequency. And you would also see me do this in a pretty similar hand that I played against DM5 in the previous video, where I checked back aces on actually a pretty similar board to this. So check it back.
Matt does have the backdoor nut flush draw and a backdoor straight draw.
I like Matt checking here on this board.
King is all over Matt's range.
Yep.
I think he should probably bet it.
But he decides just to check, and
he does
take
have
his
showdown
equity.
value.
It just checks through. It's reasonable, I
Yeah.
think, how Matt played it. Limit his losses. I think this is actually also a good lesson just in general. Is like you don't have to win every pot, especially when the pot is small. You just don't have to always take shots.
That's more of a lesson for DM5 than you're not bluffing enough. Check out DM5
I mean,
VPIPing it up like VPIP Joe almost.
It's crazy, and it's working. He's the big winner. He just won another nice pot. Matt Vaughan, more like Matt Gone.
Matt, why did you even come to Portland to play in PokerTime, Matt?
Matt.
And I say play kind of facetiously because
Yeah.
I don't think you're doing that. You're just sitting there 17%ing it up.
Hey, guys. Here comes the roof.
Wow.
Hey, he lived the tens.
Did you just go through reverse puberty?
So as they've kind of shown now, my VPIP is very near or at the bottom of all the players in this game. If anyone was watching the full video from the first session or maybe first session and a half, I basically got no playable hands in the first hour, and that really drove my VPIP down. I was probably playing something like 30% of, the entire deck as far as like combinations go, but as far as my card distribution, I was definitely not getting my fair share of the cards, and so it just ends up this way sometimes. But it's kind of funny that my VPIP is like literally 4x smaller than DM5's VPIP in this session so far.
So what I'm saying is, Joseph, get your roosters together and make them stop doing that.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah. Anyway, here's bottom two for the rooster. Matt Vaughan with an open ender.
Yep.
Well, not an open ender. Gut shot, excuse me.
Got the overcard as well. This is a reasonable board to continue on for him, although it's not going to work out super great yet. He's going to need some help. Joseph just deciding between the call and the raise. He's going to play it soft. That's a great card.
There's roosters at the airport, Jonathan.
Are they flying the planes or are they just air traffic controllers? Rooster's going to lead here. Also without an internal clock. How much did he make it? Wow, it's almost like the rooster knows that Matt Vaughan's gonna have a fair amount of checkbacks on this turn, I guess.
It's the type of board that you would expect that.
Thanks.
Here's black, sir.
Thank you.
And Matt Vaughan goes from maybe taking a check or maybe barreling one more time to I don't see how he can really call. He can raise or fold. I think that's it.
In this hand, I've decided to maybe shake it up a little bit, open a little wider since it's been kind of hard to get anything going as far as hands. I open it up with the king 10 for running the gun +2. The rooster calls in the big blind with the 9-8 offsuit, and we go heads up to a flop, which is very favorable for him. He flops bottom 2, and I flop a gutter. So I think very clear c-bet on this board, where from up front we have a lot of the strongest hands, and the rooster will have a lot of just insta-folds on this board. He decides to just call, though, and we go heads up to a turn. On this turn card, he decides to lead, which is a very interesting moment in this hand. I think as played from his perspective, he thinks that he's at risk of losing value, given that he didn't actually check raise flop. He didn't lead flop himself to set price or anything like that. And he's a little worried I'm just going to check back a lot of my range on this turn. He's probably not wrong, but his lead also made me think that he had a lot of hands that maybe improve on this turn, like 2 spades with a 9, 2 spades with an 8, something like ace 10, ace jack with spades. A lot of spade combos that feel inclined to float the flop or call the flop with equity, but then improve and don't really want to check raise. I also thought that he may do this with a lot of his sort of medium strength value hands, which I actually think he feels this hand falls into. I think this is a pretty strong hand for him, but I think he's playing it sort of like a medium strength hand where it feels very vulnerable and he doesn't want it to check through and see a river. So now I was putting a lot of like ace queen, king queen, queen jack, queen 10 in that range, maybe some 9-10, jack 9, stuff like that, rather than the strongest hands. But I think 9-8 off actually sort of fits into that category as well. He may not do this with stronger 2-pair, and he probably doesn't take this full line with sets either. So in the moment, I just really didn't think that his range overall could stand to get a lot of action here. I thought he would probably bet fold a lot of the 1-pair hands, especially the ones that don't have gut shots with it. And that depending on how he called, what I just felt about it in the moment, I would probably not barrel the river unless I had some explicit reason to, because I think if he calls this turn raise, he's saying he actually does have a hand stronger than those 1-pair hands, and I'm just probably a little bit mistaken about it in the moment. So my plan at the time was to basically raise turn. If I don't improve and he's called, I'm going to usually shut down. Maybe occasionally if I have some kind of a read, I can just go for it and blast, but most of the time I was planning to be done with it.
Yeah, and raising is just kind of a stab in the dark.
Yep. He does block the nuts. And look at this. Matt Vaughan is going to put in the raise with the nut blocker.
All right, he's trying to actually play a little poker here.
I like it. He's like, you donk at me, I shove it down your throat.
He's a very violent man.
Rooster's hand is probably too good here to fold, although it is barely too good.
He is now in an uncomfortable spot for sure.
Yep. This lead puts him in that spot. Check calling would have been a much easier play. Well, if the Rooster doesn't fold here, now when he leads, this has got to be one of the better hands he's going to show up with when he leads, I think. So
that, along with him knowing a bit about Matt Vaughan, knowing that Matt is a guy who has moves.
Yeah.
You can't be folding this hand against a guy who has moves.
I agree.
You can fold against some players. Just make a categorical decision that they just don't have a move here.
He does make the call. I think we have to call here and evaluate on the river, basically. Like
Yeah.
if Matt bombs the hell out of it, we have to at least think about folding. Otherwise, it's going to be a call. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's easy to fold now, at least.
How crazy is that card?
It's going to be an easy fold for the Rooster. But yes, Matt Vaughan makes the nuts. And
the only thing you can beat now are spades.
What a beautiful feeling in poker when you get called on a move like that and you do have like very few outs to a very good hand and you get there and you're like, oh, my whole perception of this hand has changed to how can I make all the happy money?
How much is Matt Vaughan going to bet with the nuts here? What do you think he should bet here? Like, he just got called with his raise.
He should be trying to get called by a 2-pair or a strong queen, so I think something like 400.
I think he should go polarizing and rep the missed spades.
He does end up calling, and we get the Miracle River. The river provides, as the Poker Guys video said. And so even though I was planning to shut down, obviously we now have the nuts. And we think, again, from our evaluation from the turn, that when he does call the turn raise, he's actually pretty strong. So I want to go for a big size here because even though I don't necessarily think that this is a good card for his range per se, I think he's going to struggle to believe me. Joseph has made some interesting folds against me in the past, and I think that he's kind of aware of that, and I think he's less likely to do it now. Plus, there are a few instances of hands where he'll just have improved to a straight here, and I'll have a better straight. So hands like 10-9 of spades, Queen 10, just hands like that, and slow play Jack 10 as well, which he may have in full combinations. It's a little bit hard to say. I don't think he takes the exact line that he's taken with all of his Jack 10, but probably, some percentage of the time. So I want to target those really strong parts of his range and bet big. So I end up going for $900, which is just a little bit under the size of the pot, something like 90% pot.
Looks like he is going big. Let's see. Yep, he is. He's going very big.
Yep.
900. Joseph's the kind of guy who at least sometimes will make these calls. We've seen him do it before. This with weaker hands than this. That said, he can clearly only beat a bluff now. That was probably true before as well on the turn, but now for sure. When the board gets more polarizing, it shrinks Matt Vaughan's value range.
You don't have Jack 10, do you? You're kings, right?
He does call.
Wow.
The king. River.
Nice one.
It was weird that Joseph said you have kings.
Yeah, it's
Kings is
interesting.
not a hand that I think is going to bet 900 on the river.
I don't know if kings will raise the turn either.
But they're certainly not going to bet 900 on the river. They just...
might
Kings
be-
are sometimes ahead.
The rooster might be overthinking it on the river, thinking kings don't feel like they're good enough and they block the nuts.
Right, but kings can beat king, queen, and ace, queen, and stuff like that. And
Well-
just don't need to take a shot. Wow.
Matt
DM5
Vaughan-
Matt Vaughan have picked up a little bit here.
Yeah, and now I don't think the rooster will be waking up Matt Vaughan when Matt Vaughan set his rooster alarm for. He's going to make him oversleep, miss his flight.
But will it be on purpose, or will it just be because he has no idea what time it is, like all the other roosters?
Intent doesn't matter, Jonathan.
Huh.
It's like GTO. It doesn't matter what your opponent is doing or has.
I mean, those things matter.
As far as your actions.
That was a huge pot we just saw.
Yeah, that was
when
big.
Matt Vaughan rivers the nuts after taking, from an equity point of view, a very, very tough shot
Yeah.
on the turn.
That's some Portland hospitality for Matt Vaughan right there.
Yeah. The rooster clearly feeling a little bit of pain.
So all in all, a pretty amazing experience playing on the Poker Guys PokerTime 510 No Limit recorded show. Always cool to hang out with those guys. They give me a lot of shit, but it's all in good fun. And I really enjoyed just getting to spend time with some different poker minds that I'm normally around, that I normally interact with. Came back from the session feeling good, booked a win of about 1700, something like that. And no complaints there. Again, moving up to 510, playing some more higher stakes games has been an eye-opening experience for sure. I definitely want to keep doing it. And yeah, not much else to say there, except buy some Uproar merch, check it out, join Discord. That's all I've got to say about that. I'll talk to you guys all real soon, especially in Discord. Peace out. So wrapping up the session, it was a big one. Little loss at the end, but in for 2,500, out 5,135 for a profit of 2,635 by my math. So might come back for some Big O Friday. I think tomorrow we're gonna try to get in the booth with these jokers over here, get some commentary in. But it was fun. Hope to be back. Let's do it. Just wrapped a PokerTime session and gonna have a guest appearance on PokerTime. I don't know why there's theme music, but we have theme music now.
Get the volume you believe will speak when we're doing it. All we do is say testing, testing. Yeah.
Testing.
Hopefully they'll be speaking.
Testing. Testing.
Joined in the booth by guest commentator and vlogger Matthew Vaughan. Welcome to the show, Matthew, our first guest commentator ever.
I don't know what he's talking about. I just came in off the street looking for a free meal, and they handed me a microphone instead.